All right, guys. We have Rocky out here running around with us. So one of us may have to walk off screen here if he gets away from us. Rocky's our German Shepherd. We want to tell you why we're here and finally get you guys up to date with the truth. I came here when Joe was months old with his mother here to Colombia, and we were supposed to have a stay here, but not an extended stay. About 3 days after Joe was here, he wasn't eating good, and I took him to the hospital with his mother. And this is Joe, by the way, and the doctor, as soon as I seen the conditions of hospitals here in Colombia, I was like, oh, hell no. Make a long story short, they thought it was altitude sickness. Joe's walking off to check on Rocky. We're having to do this while we got the availability and we're alone to do it. I told my wife at that time, 3 days here, we needed to turn around and go back. When I came here, I knew kind of that there could be a problem, but my wife was going through postpartum depression, and her and her family suffer from mental conditions that were kept from me before I married her, and were a great shock to me after I got married to her. I had what I'm going to give like a region area, what would now be a $350,000 to $400,000 home in the southeast. In the northeast or out west, it would be anywhere from $2 to $4 million home. I had a thriving business. I had a great, secure future for Joe. She wouldn't let him return. She informed me when we came out of the hospital, not only would she not be returning, she demanded I would not return, and said under no circumstances would Joe return. This was 16 years ago. I'm going to bring the story up to today, but in between that time, a lot of miraculous things happened. I walked for 21 days to try to get help in the US Embassy that was under Obama leadership, who refused to help me to get Joe back to the United States. We were able to make one trip back. Was it 2 years ago?
Yep.
All right, 2 years ago. I went to the only place I knew that I could go, which was my sister's. And unbeknownst to me, my sister was like a raging schizophrenic the whole time. She's the only family member I've got left, as a matter of factly. And we had to leave her and return. And we're able to get out of here now with better finances, although we're still going to need some help. But the mother refuses to sign for Joe to leave. And just to put icing on the bad cake here, and I've skipped so much history here, so much history. Trust me, there's going to be a book made about him. I don't think I'll make it to that point, but there'll be books made about him. There'll be laws instituted because of him and what's happened to him. Because irrespective of what's happened to me, he's the real victim. He wants to go back to the United States. The big hypocrisy, evilness in this, just leash him and get him back, Joe. Because Joe can attest to this, and what I kept telling his mother and her family, which helped him, and her ex-husband, which helped her, I kept telling these people, eventually this little baby that you're holding is going to be able to talk. And he's gonna tell you a few things that I'm gonna ask him here. Joe, I can tell it in my words, but it'd be better to come from your words. I'm thinking they took the phone away from you and that's what you told me, but they need to hear it from you. As my mother lay dying of cancer, how old do you think you were?
Maybe 5.
Maybe he was 5, he thinks. I believe he was 6. And about the time my mother died, he would have been 6. But he's thinking he was 5. But it's going to be from his words. Who did you get a call from? I want you to tell the people that story, if you would, because it's heartbreaking, and you didn't deserve it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one day I was just walking around the house and I heard the phone ring. So I went to pick it up and I heard this lady, which I couldn't understand. And I believe in my heart that was grandma. It sounded like an old lady and I felt like I knew her. And right about the time I was going to start talking to her, grandma came and, like, my Colombian
That's your
grandma,
mother's mother.
yeah, she came and grabbed the phone from me, hang the phone up and pull me away from it.
See, so, and these things, that wasn't the only time anything like this has happened. My wife's mother pulled the phone away from him and just hung it up. She knew who it was. She knew because word had got to their family that my mother was dying. That's my mother, his other grandmother, and they refused. We got an interpreter up in the hospice care for my mama, his other grandmother, to be able to talk to him with a Spanish translator. And my wife's family was having none of that, were they? What did they also do? Tell them about what they told you I did, as far as that maybe I ran off and left you or whatever.
Oh yeah, they kept telling me every single night that you abandoned me because you didn't like me, you didn't want me, so you just ran away and didn't want nothing to do with me. And they also told me that I wasn't going to be able to return back to the US until I was 18 or older, that I was never going to see the US.
All right, so he had that happen to him as well. And these are just a couple of things that I told him. Joe doesn't talk good on camera. But these are a few of the things that I told Joe that I was going to, a couple of the things that I told him that I would possibly ask him. I'm going to ask him about something else, which is the third thing. Now, guess who's in, it's important to note here that my wife didn't go do a birth certificate for Joe to make him a Colombian citizen here. The person who went and did that and signed for it was her ex-husband, which is Joe's half-sister's father. That's right? All right. We've got the birth certificate. His name's on it. And he signed with the notary in Bogota, making Joe a Colombian citizen for his ex-wife, to just steal him from me. And it worked. But in the end, nothing like that's going to work, because evil will never thrive. And as I told these people all along, eventually he's going to be able to talk. And boy, talk has he. I'm leaving 1,000,001 things out of this, or this video would be 10 hours long. It's enough that they'll make a movie on this probably, and especially if Joe wins a gold medal at the Olympics in Los Angeles, if we can get the hell up out of here. I've lost every bit of security I had. 30 years of hard working labor that I put in that would have been for his future got stripped away with me fighting for him back including my health that I mention to y'all regularly on this channel. But the real clicker in this is, where's your stepsister and her father who signed to make you a Colombian citizen? Where are they living now?
In the US.
They are in the US. Are they there legally or illegally?
Illegally.
They're there in the US where he wants to go back home, and they're there illegally. And we had a phone conversation with his half-sister yesterday, and put in your own words how she was talking about the US and trying to defend what her dad did to you. And it's important to note, I get calls from his half-sister and from her father regularly. They both telling me the other one won't work, like they want me to get the other one kicked out of the U.S., like daddy, daughter, daughter, daddy. They're both claiming neither will work, and they're sucking up resources that my money, my family's money, every one of you that work in the U.S. do, but seem to think it's all right for them to be there illegally and for him to be stuck in Colombia. Do you have that same feeling?
Yep.
All right. How was she talking about the U.S.?
She was
to defend her mother. I'm going to say it, and then you can agree with it, because I'll get it out quicker. To defend what herself, as his sister did, her mother, her father, her grandparents, and everybody else in their family, hiding him and keeping him from the U.S. and slandering me, slandering my dead mother, all these bad things. Where was I going with this, Joe?
You were trying to explain. You were trying to say how bad they were talking about the
they
US
were trying to defend what they did, because they've all. His stepsister has admitted what she's done in this in court settings and in attorney settings, and they've got all that information down, and they were trying to defend what they all did bad. What was she saying by what kids do in the U.S.?
Oh yeah, there's mass shootings and all that, and every single day a kid gets shot in school. The place is horrible. Oh, what a horrible place to live. But yet she's still... Yet
they will not return, and they both have the money to come back here. And when they exchange the currency, both of them can live high off the hog. Both of them have a home to go to where they don't have to worry about where they're going to live. And then you got Joe, who will be faced with the damn streets, and they just don't give a damn. And you've got to keep these people out of your country. And we're debating now, what have we been talking about with concerns to the FBI?
Yeah, if we
after what the Fiscalia neighbor told us? He said what?
To call the FBI and get it on. Talked about, get the FBI on them because they made false papers on me and they're illegally.
Yeah. So that's where we're sitting right now. I've done the best I could. See, I did not want to strip him away from his mother, but now he's of age. He's 16 years old. He wants to go back to the U.S. All I hear every day, multiple times a day, I want to go home, Daddy. This ain't my home. I ain't Colombian. I'm an American. I was born there. I want to go back to my birthplace. I hear this constantly. And I'm at the point now that he's 16, after trying to keep even the mother and the guilt and the wrong that she's done, me having grown up, that my father died when I was a young boy, don't want him to be without one of his parents. But he's 16 years old now, and we're going to start fighting to come back home now. And we're not going to accept no for an answer. No matter what the cost be to us, no matter what the struggle, You people have a 16-year-old, probably the best 16-year-old boxer on planet Earth, according to what I've been seeing as helping him train, who could be in the U.S. right now getting ready to win every American citizen a U.S. Olympic gold medal that he wants to present to President Trump, that it can go into the library, the presidential library, and look at where he's being stuck. See? And I could go on with story after story. A lot of you know that we've been attacked in the streets. These delinquents here, all they know to do is run up and throw heavy pieces of rock at you and run off. Joe's had several stitches in his head. I've had a broken toe. There's no justice here. And Joe's just ready to go home, and I'm ready to bring him home. We now have options through the love of you viewers. Several people have stepped up and said, come be with us and get back up on your feet. I do have a pension, so we have money coming in every month, but we will need some help with somewhere to stay a few weeks, maybe a month, to get back up on our feet. And this is just a damn shame. And these Colombians, and they think alike. So all, you know, cultures think alike typically. Those two that helped keep him here and wreck his life and wreck my life and wreck my mother's life. He's got no relation with any of my family, my nieces or nephews that are his cousins, because he's been kept from them. And it's just kidnapping, pure and simple. It falls under the definition of it. His sister, even though she spoke great English and was teaching other kids English, she wouldn't teach you English. And I got that right. She wasn't teaching you English. The mother wasn't teaching him English that speaks good English. And I keep asking him, because he's not very talkative, but I want him to be talkative. So just what are your feelings? Where do you want to be? Just tell the people how you feel about what's happened to you, and really, you know, where you want to be and what you want to do.
Well,
how do you feel about all this?
Really angry. Feel really angry that people can do things like this and just don't have nothing in their brain, you know, like any conscience or...
Yeah, I typically believe that it's psychopathic myself, and I believe there are societies that are psychopathic.
And I also believe like that I'm an American and I should be back there, winning things for our country,
and
making our country great.
Yeah, and what do you tell me? You have the right to be.
Yeah, I have the right to be.
You were born with that God-given right, and that right's from who?
God,
the Lord. And how do you feel about your half-sister and her father living in America high off the hog and not giving a shit that you're here?
Yeah,
and making excuses as they helped you be here or keep you here.
Well, it makes me angry that they're kind of leeching off our taxpayer money. Meanwhile, they're trashing our country, like they're talking bad about our country. And I just feel angry that there's, you know, they're over there, I'm here, they're leeching off our taxpayer money. And just it's not good.
Yeah. How do you feel personally towards them?
Betrayed.
See, betrayal. We talk about this every day. I don't know what it is. Joe's just 16. You turn the camera on and he's kind of seals up, and to get him to say this much is monumental. And he's not nervous about anything he says, because He gets nervous how he wants to talk around his mama, but he knows he's got the God-given right. Now, I discipline him. I try to raise him right and things like that. I don't let him curse around me and stuff like that. But you always got the ability to tell me how you're feeling, right? And all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and how do you feel that mama did this to you? I know you still love your mother. There's a piece of me that still loves her. I feel sorry for her. It's like a love and feeling sorry for someone that I have. But I'm terribly angry with her.
You know, they've abused me so much for so long. I'm at the point I don't even know how I feel. I'm so, like, so many emotions.
Yeah, and see, folks, when we get back, we're probably both going to have to go get psychological help, because this has been a decades long thing, all his life at 16. And I fought for him the whole time. And see, he didn't know. They tried to tell him I abandoned him, that whole family, his sister's father. They all were telling him, your daddy abandoned you. And then when Joe got to look at old national TV clips where Colombia had me all over national TV, which maybe I'll put some of those clips up here, and me walking and almost getting killed on 3 separate occasions. It took me 21 days to get from where I was at to the embassy, and the embassy left me to die on the front streets. And as a matter of fact, a FBI worker came out there, a lady, a blonde-headed lady, and I want Trump and Kash Patel to find out who this lady is, because she needs to be fired, probably jailed for trying to kill a U.S. citizen. She told them to take me somewhere and get rid of me. And the captain of the guards at the U.S. Embassy, the outer Colombian police that guard the most outer perimeter, told me this. And I said, what does getting rid of me mean? And he said, getting rid of you. And he said, we are not going to do that. These people are effing crazy, is what the commandant told me. So we got a big story to tell everybody, and we're tired of it. We believe Joe's 16 now, and do you want the truth to come out too, right?
Oh, yeah.
You want everybody to pay for what they've done, right? And I do too. And my mother, laying on her deathbed, crying to be able to talk to him. And these damn fools not letting her talk to him, that's just as sick can get. And you got 2 of them living up in the Northeast right now. I'm not going to say where they live, but he's contemplating right now on giving them their ID information, because he has it. Well, we have it. And contacting the FBI and contacting Kristi Noem, head of Homeland Security, for the shit they've done, and them up there sucking off of our resources and keeping him here and helping keep a U.S. citizen out while they cross in illegally. And that's the icing on the cake for me. That's the most hard thing for me to deal with. You know, when you've got a sister that'll just betray you at a whim, it's some sick stuff, guys. So we figured we'd let you in on a big outline portion of what we've been going through and what's been happening. And as time goes by, I'll let you in on intricacies and the plethora of situations that has actually happened to us, different things where physical things, mental things, emotional things, sick things that we've had to go through. And he's been held here all his life. And I want to end it with this. I'm going to mention just a couple of other things. When I got to Joe when he was 10 years old, and I finally broke through that. He could not run. He could not even go outside. I had for a year, he had to wear dark sunglasses. Can you tell them that part, that you couldn't run and couldn't go outside?
Yeah, I was lucky enough if I could walk, and I needed a really dark pair of sunglasses so I could see, because I couldn't go outside during the day. The sun was just too strong for my eyes, because
Yeah.
I really wasn't going outside much.
Yeah, so these motherfuckers, what they've done is they kept him inside the house. And God opened the door when he turned 10, and I just swooped in. And I convinced the mother I'm not going to run off with him. And at that time, she took it. And I've had to be with the mother, pay all the mother's things, do all the mother's stuff, go through all this crazy. But now Joe wants to go home. But when I first got here, he couldn't even go outside in the sun. He would get sick. What was going on? He was getting headaches and getting nauseated.
I just couldn't open my eyes.
By
really.
sunlight. By sunlight, y'all. And couldn't run, couldn't jog, and it was because he got kept in a room inside a house for the first 9 3/4 years of his life. And these people should be locked up for that alone. The sister, the mother, the sister's father, the grandparents, the brothers, and the sister. To his mother, they all helped in doing this. A whole big family helped in doing this and keeping this boy under the conditions they kept him under. And because my wife has been a teacher, an English teacher here, she was able to pull the wool over everybody's eyes with lies and deceit. And it's just a sick thing. And my reality is, I'm not going to do anything, but if Joe wants to get charges up or do something, he should do it. And he should do it. But I can't do that for him. I don't want him to go through life saying, my dad did this. And I'm just trying to do the best I can, give him the most freedom that I can possibly give him, father him the best I can. See, folks, I get up every morning and I screw with him. And I'm not in good health. I screw with him. When we're done with that, I lead him and help him in his athletics and all that stuff. So I spend all my time with him. And I thank the Lord every second of every day, for every second of every day, for the time that the Lord has given me with my son. And I'm sure my son will say the same thing, because I hear the horror stories of, Dad, I would cry, I would like, my dad hates me. Why won't my dad have anything to do with me? For 9.5 years of those formative years. And that is child abuse, people. And nobody that's done this to a U.S. child should be allowed in freedom to be on U.S. soil.